right, good evening, everyone. I am Kathleen Pate. I am the Director of Education and Public Programs. Super excited that you are here with us tonight for Harmonizing in Arkansas Rock. This program is a part of the Clinton Presidential Center Presents series, which is a partnership with the Clinton Presidential Library and Museum, the Clinton Foundation, and the Clinton School of Public Service. But we have some other partners I'm going to recognize. But first I want to talk just a short, brief moment about music and why we're having this series. Music has always been a part of America. To commemorate the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, the Clinton Presidential Library and Museum is partnering with Humanities Arkansas to celebrate American-made music, particularly styles that flourished in Arkansas during the 20th century. Harmonizing in Arkansas is part of the library's public programming connected to Making Amends. This is our current temporary exhibit. It's on display through July 26th, and it examines the history, debate, and evolution of the 27 amendments to the U.S. Constitution. This series will culminate in songwriting workshops during the Arkansas Folklife Festival, June 26th through 28th, and all of our programs are free and open to the public. Program support provided by the Federation of State Humanities Councils as part of the By the People Conversations Beyond 250, a series of community-driven programs created by Humanities Councils in collaboration with local partners. That would be us, we're the local partner. The initiative was developed by the Federation of State Humanities Councils and the Smithsonian Center for Folklife and Cultural Heritage. So I want to encourage you, after tonight's program, visit with our friends from Humanities Arkansas. They're collecting these reflections about America as we approach our 250th anniversary. So they'd love to kind of hear from you. And if you're in a big hurry and you're headed out to dinner or whatever, they have a QR code that you can scan and still share that information if you don't have time to hang out with us. President Clinton once said, rock and roll is about love and loss and happiness and heartbreak. It's full of poetry, and it's been about politics. Right? President Clinton was known as the rock and roll president. You know, it's kind of hard to remember. I do remember. But the shift, right? We went from George H.W. Bush, we went from a greatest generation, a World War II vet, into a boomer, a baby boomer, right? So really our first president, our first rock and roll president. So we're going to start tonight with an overview of the genre by Stephen Koch. He is an award-winning journalist in both broadcasting and print with a focus on musical culture of the Mid-South. He is also, this is how I know him, the creator and host of Arkansongs. So he knows pretty much everything there is to know about music in Arkansas, any kind of music in Arkansas. After that, the band, deFrance, is going to take us on a roller coaster ride of all those emotions that President Clinton mentioned. It's going to be great. It's going to be loud. It's going to be, yeah. What do they say? If it's too loud, you're too old? I may be too old. I may be too old. All right, artist and producer Bray Lenny will be the MC for the concert portion. He'll introduce the band and share the theme for each of the 3 sets. But first, help me welcome Stephen Koch to the podium.
Hey, everybody. It's such a pleasure to be here and to be partnering with Bray and with Kathleen and the Clinton Center. This is our 3rd event. We've been doing this past 3 months. We did folk music and jazz last month, and then we're excited to do rock and roll this time. And, you know, I don't know if many of you know Arkansongs, but it's a public radio program. It's been on for almost 30 years. syndicated all over the state, as well as in surrounding states and other public radio stations. And when my ex-partner, old partner, Keith Merckx, and I started doing this, we heard, once you do Johnny Cash and Glenn Campbell, you're done with Arkansas music, right? And so it's incredible to me that all these years later, I'm still finding new artists and people that have done incredible things. So it's something that keeps giving. And it's also in all these different genres. So we had so much going on for jazz, and we have so much going on for rock and roll. Excuse me. They told me my water would be on the top shelf so we could go down in sequence, and that's what we're doing. Okay, so I'm kind of going to start. I'm just going to sort of give us some overview here of how rock and roll came about. You've probably seen this on PBS, over the decades, because, we have our first rock and roll president with Clinton. We're still dealing with baby boomers, 40 years later. So we've heard a lot of this, but I'm going to take you back kind of to where I took us back for the jazz thing, because to me, rock really started with boogie woogie. And, Scott Joplin was somebody that we claim. He was born in present-day Texarkana. It was before that even was incorporated. And he, of course, was known as the king of ragtime. And a lot of you guys from the 70s know about The Sting that came out, a huge movie, but it was a revival of Scott Joplin's rags from the late 1800s and turn of the century, which was actually, by the way, not quite the music that should have been playing in that Depression sort of era scene. But that's a quibble, because it brought back Scott Joplin, and he won a Pulitzer Prize for his opera called Treemonisha, which was set around Pine Bluff, and he got on a U.S. postage stamp. But he really started a lot of what this became, and we don't know a whole lot before then, because this is only about around this time that we were actually getting sheet music, and recorded music was still a few decades away. But Scott Joplin, this guy, George Washington Thomas, who was born about 20 years later in Plum Bayou, Arkansas. It's in Jefferson County. He's the brother of Sippy Wallace, the blues star from the 20s. But he did the first boogie woogie music that we know of, with this barrel house left hand that some of you musicians out there might know about. And that is really the foundation of what became early R&B. And it was ragtimeish, and it was boogie woogie, and then it became R&B, and then hot music, rock and roll. And this guy is somebody that you should know about, George Washington Thomas, and I'm hoping to do some more documentation on him in future years. But Sippy Wallace was his sister, and she was also a huge star in the blues in the 20s, when it was very female driven for this decade, and then has never happened again for the blues. It's always been pretty male oriented, as has rock and roll. Let's see. So Alex Hill was a guy who was born here in Little Rock in 1906. All these guys are players. They're playing with King Oliver, Duke Ellington, Fats Waller, and they're sort of developing this hot, irreverent sound as the 20s and 30s go on. There's a guy named Snub Mosley who sort of invented this slide trombone thing, and they're all playing with Alfonso Trent, and they're hitting Dallas, and they're these regional territory bands, and they would fight with other bands and both play that night, and whatever the audience reaction was, those guys won the night. And I don't know what spoils they got, but I'm sure they were nice. Okay, so around this time, this is like 30s, 40s, there's a key guy named Henry Glover that was from Hot Springs, Arkansas. And he helped really establish what we now know as rock and roll, because he started doing these R&B songs that he would often write. But he was a producer, a pioneering African-American producer for King Records out of Cincinnati. And he's the guy that first produced The Twist by Hank Ballard and the Midnighters. It wasn't the hit version. And then the first producing of Fever by Little Willie John from Ouachita County. But he wrote many songs such as Drowning My Own Tears and California Sun and all this. And so not only was he a songwriter, but he was a producer. So he would often take his songs and then run them on a hillbilly act and then run them on an early R&B act, so he could get twice the publishing. But also what he was doing was sort of innovating this country sound into the R&B sound, creating what we know as rock and roll today. That's Henry Glover, and we got a park named after him in Hot Springs, and in 2021 it was his centennial, and we got had Henry Glover Day in Cincinnati and Hot Springs, and got him on the Walk of Fame over there. And so he had been in a band called Lucky Millender Band. Sister Rosetta Tharpe also played in this band. Henry Glover played trumpet. Wasn't in the band very long. Lucky Millender is notable to Sister Rosetta Tharpe fans, not only for her being in his band and doing some of her first secular songs, such as the scandalously titled "I Want a Tall, Skinny Papa," because she was, this church was sort of thought that she was in their corner, and she really was a rogue, and she played the kind of music that she wanted to play. And she did take the gospel music to the nightclubs, but then she also recorded songs like "I Want a Tall, Skinny Papa," and that really caused a schism culturally in the church. But she was innovating and pioneering with this fantastic guitar technique, and she started, doing the secular music in Lucky Millender's band, but he's also was the best man in her third marriage that was held at the Washington Senators baseball stadium. They charged 50 cents to get into the wedding, but he was the best man on her wedding. And so we're getting into the 40s now, but just to go back to Henry Glover, I don't know if we can underestimate how pioneering he was. He also later was the first guy to produce Ronnie Hawkins and the Hawks, who then became the band. Henry Glover was the first guy to say to Levon Helm, "Hey, you guys sound pretty good without Ronnie. Maybe y'all should record something." And then they became Rock and Roll Hall of Famers before it was all over. But this guy, Henry Glover, partnered with Levon after the breakup of the band. They did a record label together, and he produced them. He produced a cool album on Muddy Waters that won Muddy his first Grammy. And the doing of the rockabilly with the early R&B and this guy, some of these, actually several of them from Lucky Millender's band, but they started doing solo stuff, and Henry was producing them, and all these songs, some of them were salacious. This is worse than "I Want a Tall, Skinny Papa," so hang on to your hats. But this one's called "Keep on Churning Till the Butter Comes," and "Rocky Mountain Oysters," all these sort of very salacious songs that maybe even in the 50s wouldn't have passed muster. But that was just a whole side thing. But he was doing all this, and we're kind of, spiritually as well as musically getting into what we became to start calling rock and roll. And one of my favorites, I love him so much, I wrote a book on him, Louis Jordan, who's from Brinkley, Arkansas. He was really, with Henry Glover being behind the glass as producer, Louis Jordan was the guy that was really showing the nation how to rock. He had 50 top 10 hits through the 40s, duetted with Ella Fitzgerald, Bing Crosby, and was sort of the king of the culture in the segregated U.S. at that time. But he was also able to sort of cross over and get white audiences because his music was that infectious. And he had all these songs. Again, watch out for this song title, "What's the Use of Getting Sober When You're Gonna Get Drunk Again?" And "Let the Good Times Roll," "Choo Choo Choo Boogie," "Is You Is or Is You Ain't My Baby." These are all his songs. He changed American vernacular. Like people that say, I had a buddy named Richard he was born in the 50s, and Louis Jordan had a song called "Open the Door, Richard," that ended up becoming like a civil rights anthem. But like he grew up never knowing why everyone was asking him to open the door. And I finally said, all right, man, open the door, Richard. This was you. And all the older generation was saying, "Hey, Richard, open the door." So he was in his 60s by then, and finally glad to have this riddle resolved in his mind. So besides Louis Jordan's 50 top 10 hits, and like in 1946 when Bill Clinton was born, this is Louis Jordan's biggest year. He had a #1 hit 35 of the 52 weeks of 1952. Most of it were from two songs, but "Choo Choo Choo Boogie" was his biggest hit, and that was many of the, 18, I think, of the weeks of 1946. So musically he's dominating, but then the folks that he influenced during this time, B.B. King, James Brown, Ray Charles, Chuck Berry, all the folks that we consider the influences of today got their start from Louis Jordan. I got some quotes in here. This is one of my favorite, from James Brown, talking about Louis Jordan. "His talent was so awesome, I thought he had to be supernatural. And another one, Louis Jordan, he was everything. And Leonard Feather, who was sort of a jazz producer at the time, said Louis Jordan's impact in the 40s was comparable to that of the Beatles in the 1960s. And so beyond Chuck Berry, Little Richard, Ray Charles, James Brown, B.B. King, Bill Haley was the guy that had the same producer as Louis Jordan and the same label, and they were trying to get the Louis Jordan sound, and they came up with this song called Rock Around the Clock. And a lot of people think, that's sort of a quintessential rock and roll tune. And Louis Jordan not only did this, he brought calypso to the USA and did some of the first music videos. And also starred in his own full-length movies that my friend Daniel, former director of the old State House, called Elvis movies before there was Elvis, because you're not worried about the plot, you're just ready to get to the next song. But anyway, yeah, that's Louis Jordan, and be sure and check him out. All right, I'll try to speed this up because we're only in the 50s, and we got some rock and roll live here. So yeah, Henry Glover partnered with Levon Helm. At this point in 2026, we kind of consider the band's debut from 1968 called Music from Big Pink sort of the lodestar of Americana music. We didn't have that or use that word for it in the 60s, 70s, 80s, but Americana has sort of been a catch-all for roots music and this kind of thing, and the Hawks became the band, and Levon was sort of their leader, and he, was a big friend of Bill, by the way, and you guys remember the Blue Jean Bash that they did when Clinton got elected both times. Levon was sort of the band leader for that, and we had Bob Dylan that night, and the Kate Brothers, who were another Arkansas-related band, and Levon, of course, played with the Kates for a long time. And before I get too far out, talking about Sun Records, we had Charlie Rich, Sonny Burgess, Ronnie Hawkins was on there for a minute, and Billy Lee Riley, but also this guy named Roland James, who's from Brookings, Arkansas, and he was the engineer on all these classic Sun records with the Echo and stuff, and he's the guy that came up with all that, and he also was in Billy Lee Riley's band he was one of the Little Green Men from Billy Lee Riley had the Flying Saucer rock and roll song. But Sun Records, was considered sort of the guys that first came out with the Elvis records, and this is where rock and roll started. Well, Sun Records has already been around for several years at this point, but they were doing blues. So Howlin' Wolf, who was a farmer in West Memphis at this time, was on Sun Records, and that's where Sam Phillips heard Howlin' Wolf and said, "This is where the soul of man never dies," listening to Howlin' Wolf. And there's a lot of great connections in West Memphis. Of course, it was the town that Memphians came to get really rowdy at, and it was an open town, prostitution. You could see stag films and liquor, drugs, all that stuff. But to me, most importantly, Howlin' Wolf, is considered sort of the guy that started the Chicago blues sound, which is amplified blues music, but done with basically this same instrumentation. And that's always been called the Chicago style, but Howlin' Wolf called it the West Memphis style. So that's what I use. And Pat Hare, there was some great, he was kind of considered one of the first heavy metal guitarists because of his distortion on his amp, and he played a couple of solo records for Sun, but also was in everybody's backing band, and he was considered this amazing guitarist. And if you hear some of his solo stuff, you can hear really some of the first distortion out of a guitar amp on purpose, to give us that sound. Okay, yeah, rock and roll. To me, one of the biggest contributors to modern rock and roll, and by modern I mean like the 80s and the 90s, is sort of a wild card here that a lot of people aren't talking about, but they should, and it's Black Oak, Arkansas. And these were they considered themselves the first long hairs in the state, and they were in Craighead County to make it even worse. And they started like 1963. These guys first started getting together, and they were in a band called the Nobody Else, and they sort of evolved and changed their name. None of the folks in the band Black Oak, Arkansas were actually born in Black Oak, Arkansas, but they thought that was a cute name, and it ended up working out really well for them. They had a top 30 hit in 1975 called Jim Dandy to the Rescue. But they'd already done 3 or 4 records at this time, and kind of a mystic sound on the first 3, and then they really started becoming heavy rock. They called it ranch and roll. So they were full-on distortion, long hair. This guy named Tommy Aldridge became their drummer, who really influenced so much rock drumming today. He played with Ozzy Osbourne and Whitesnake and other bands as their time went on after he left Black Oak. And there's something I have to say, and I talked to Kathleen about this earlier. We tried to figure out what year it would have been, but Butch Stone, manager of Black Oak, said he gave Bill Clinton his first limo ride, and it was with Jim Dandy, and they were going to Barton Coliseum to see Black Oak, Arkansas. And I'd like to have been a fly on the wall on that limo trip. So Butch and the band helped finance a lot of Bill Clinton's early campaigns, and this, what did we say, 1976 that he was Attorney General? 76 Attorney General. Okay, and he'd already run as I think it was 3rd District that he'd run in 74 against John Paul Hammerschmidt, and then was hammering Hammerschmidt about his non-reaction to the Watergate crimes, and he found some traction with it, but he went on to a pretty good political career. And Clarence Clemens was at the Blue Jean Bash, and he said how great it is to have a sax player in the White House. I would like that. Okay, there's some people from the background besides Henry Glover. Jim Dickinson, does that name ring a bell? Born right here in Little Rock, grew up in Memphis, and he produced a lot of cool early stuff, and actually had one of the last singles on Sun Records, but he played piano on Wild Horses by the Rolling Stones, and Arlo Guthrie's City of New Orleans. That's his really soft and beautiful piano work, but he also was a big producer. And Robert Palmer, Little Rock University grad, was one of the first rock and roll writers that really took it seriously and gave it an academic sort of approach, but also produced these key blues records in the 80s and 90s on Junior Kimbrough, C. Del Davis, and it sort of rejuvenized the blues. Robert Palmer and Jim Gaines, who was an engineer from Parkin, Arkansas, and just died a couple years ago. And I'd never heard of him. I don't expect y'all to have, but like I started hearing all these accolades from guys like Huey Lewis and Carlos Santana, because he had been this engineer. He engineered Fly Like an Eagle by Steve Miller Band. He engineered Huey Lewis and the News Sports, these albums that sold tens and tens of millions. In that Santana record, it's called Supernatural, it sold 30 million records. And so no wonder Carlos Santana called Jim Gaines an intergalactic genius. It's like, I want Carlos Santana to write my eulogy. Okay, all right, so now we're switching over into the new century, almost. The guys, Evanescence, rock band. I do a course at UALR on Arkansas music and musicians, and my students, a couple of them, were so excited to get to do a presentation on Evanescence. And that really hit a lot of folks in the goth vein, and they're still out there playing. They're coming back. They're playing the amphitheater here this fall. You guys know about Gossip? They're really kind of more big in Europe. I'd like to, I think I see Catherine Strauss back there, the local artist, and she did all these portraits. That's Beth Ditto for this book that we did about Arkansas women musicians. And Beth Ditto from the Gossip, had this sort of punk rock trio, and then they became sort of a dance trio, but, super big in Europe. It's like having a Canadian girlfriend, I know, but just trust me, they're big in Europe. But they really do a cool thing, and she had a solo record out there. There's a punk rock sort of vein going through here, from here to Washington, D.C. especially, and there was a huge punk rock scene in DC in the 80s and 90s, but it was it was funneled through a lot of Little Rock folks. There was a band called Trusty, and then a band called the Sufi Nun Squad. And a lot of these guys may have been some of your neighbors in Little Rock or working at Vino's at the time. And speaking of Jim Dickinson, Magic Crop Dusters, one of the many bands that he produced, and Ho Hum had a Universal music label deal and got a song on Sylvester Stallone movie and all that, but it was mostly kind of a corporate nightmare for those guys, but they still kept playing great music. Living Sacrifice, Christian metal. There's a huge Christian metal scene here, guys, if you don't know. And it was really started by Living Sacrifice. Evanescence kind of hits that a little bit. And anyway, yeah, rock and roll is cool. That's all. I'll wind this up, but I do want to tell us about, so thankful to have the guys from deFrance here, and they're going to do 3 different segments. I'll let Bray tell us about this, but they're going to do the Arkansas artist segment, play some Howlin' Wolf, play some band, and then do a Bill Clinton section with Fleetwood Mac, CCR, and then Elvis. They're going to play Hound Dog, is that right? And I have to note this is a huge deal for Bill Clinton, that song especially, because he played it on the Arsenio Hall show, and it helped sort of galvanize his floundering political run for presidency at that time, because it really brought in the youth vote and the black vote, and they're like, oh, maybe this guy's, not a complete stick in the mud, and he wore his famous Ray-Bans and played Hound Dog, which we're hearing this time, and he also played, God Bless the Child. You never hear about God Bless the Child, but that shows Bill's commitment to jazz also as a saxophone player. And then they're going to finish out with some originals from deFrance. So guys, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being here. So proud of Humanities Arkansas for helping us do this, and the Clinton Center. And I'll hush and we'll hear some rock and roll. Thank you guys.
One more time for Mr. Steve Koch, ladies and gentlemen. So how's everybody doing tonight? How's everybody doing? Okay, so this is what we're going to do. When I say, how you doing? You say, we will rock you. How you doing? One more time, how you doing? So, of course, we're here to talk about rock tonight, rock in Arkansas, and what better way to do that with the guys of deFrance. So, last month we had jazz, and I did trivia with the audience. And this month I was like, how can we be different? So tonight we're going to interview the band members, and I'm going to introduce everybody real quickly, and I want you to lightly apply for them. On bass and vocals, we got Mr. Connor. Y'all give it up for Connor.
Thank you very much.
On the drums, we got Mr. Xavier. Y'all give it up for Xavier. On guitar, too, over here, my boy, Cord. Y'all make some noise for Cord. And the leader and founder, Mr. Drew deFrance. Y'all give it up for Drew on vocals and guitar. So, Connor, can I pick on you first?
Oh, sure, why not?
There we go. How does Arkansas inspire your songwriting, especially in rock music?
Well, we definitely, we make the joke every time we get out on the road and get far away from home that they can tell we're from Arkansas when we start playing. You can hear the South coming out of the rock.
Yes, sir.
For sure.
Yes, sir. So another question I want to ask you, what's your favorite original song that you've written, and what's its connection to Arkansas?
Probably a song called Love Don't Live Here No More.
Is that available everywhere? Where can we find it?
Yeah, it's available everywhere on Apple Music, Spotify, Bandcamp. It's a deFrance song. It's from the album Long Live Rock and Roll, I believe. Yeah.
Hey, make sure y'all go check that out. Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube. We're going to move on to Xavier. I got some questions for you. You ready? Let's see what you got. Which rock legend do you think has had the biggest impact on Arkansas music? Gotcha. Let's go, baby.
Johnny Cash. what
Johnny Cash. Y'all give it up for Johnny Cash. That's a great answer.
experience,
That was a
because
good one. All right, so what do you love most about playing rock in Arkansas?
just the whole experience with everything. It's not up. It can be uptight, but rock and roll is just you just free. Just be yourself.
Just free.
It's just a great time.
So since I know you, and I know most of you, I'm going to go ahead and ask a personal question. Tell us a story about how you got connected with deFrance in so many words.
Okay, all right. So it was snowing, and we were right here on Main Street. I don't know if y'all know about Midtown Village. So I was actually running sound. Drew, he was filling in with another band, and so they were trying to see, are people gonna show up? It's snowing, sleeting, all of this. So we were just kind of waiting around. And so he was like, hey man, what do you do outside of doing sound? And I was like, well, I'm a drummer. And the rest is history.
And now we're here.
Right there.
Here we go. Y'all make some noise for that. So, Cord and Drew, I got questions for y'all later, but we're going to get into the music. The first segment is the Arkansas Artist Highlight segment, and we'll hear Johnny Cash, Hear My Train A Coming, Howlin' Wolf, Smokestack Lightning, and Don't Do It by the band, starring our guy Lee Von Helm from Arkansas.
Evening, folks. Afternoon. How y'all doing? All right, so my name is Drew deFrance, and I grew up in Camden, Arkansas. Y'all know where that is, right? All right, so there's been a long musical legacy down there. Like Stephen talked about, kind of starts with Sister Rosetta and Little Willie John and Fever, and it goes into like Michael Burks, and his father played with Sonny Boy Williamson, had a little place down there called the Bradley Country Club, and it wasn't a country club, it was just like a dive bar, but man, it was a lot of fun. By all the stories that I heard, I'm just a little bit too young for it. But I was able enough to spend a lot of time with Michael Burks, and he's one of the greatest blues, but also rock artists that were from Arkansas. He was, like most artists from Arkansas, he was much more famous outside the state and outside the United States as well. He would play stadiums and arenas across the world and come here and play Sticky Fingers. So it's a bit of the duality of this business. And one name that didn't get mentioned is Albert King. And I know both these guys are blues guys, but they influenced so many rock guys, so many. Every guitar player has an influence from Stevie Ray Vaughan. There would be no Stevie Ray Vaughan without Albert King, and he's one of the best Arkansas musicians to ever come out. And this first song we're going to play is by Johnny Cash, but I decided to do a little bit of a Stevie Ray Vaughan flair to it. It's also a nod to Mr. Albert King. Well, I hear my train a-comin', he's rolling around the bend. I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't know when. I'm stuck in Folsom Prison, time keeps dragging on. Well, the train keeps rolling down the San Antone. Well, when I was just a baby, my mama told me, son, always be a good boy, don't play with them guns. I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. Well, I hear the lonesome whistle, I hang my head and I cry. Watch out. railroad from the prison, the railroad train is mine. You know I move it on a little further down the line. It's far from Folsom Prison. Yeah, that's where I want to be. Well, railroad train is mine, baby. I'm gonna set myself free. I'll tell them about a chord. Come on. I'll take it over, chord. Well, I bet there's rich folks eating in fancy dining cars. I bet they're drinking coffee and smoking big cigars. You know I had it coming. Yeah, I got to be free. Well, that train will keep rolling. That's what tortures me. Thank you. All right, so we're gonna do some Howlin' Wolf. Now, my favorite Howlin' Wolf story is quite remarkable, y'all. This cat, before he moved to Chicago, somehow between doing odd jobs all over the place, and this is in the 30s and 40s, y'all, he was able to raise somewhere around, like, they think it's like $10,000 to $40,000 before he moved to Chicago to do move up there and become the legend that he is now. I'm just thinking, I'm like, man, it's hard to get $10,000 or $40,000 as a musician these days. Tip your band members. I saw them out back sharing the same cigarette. That's pretty poor. You know? That's why I'm not a comedian. All right, everybody. Let's do some Howlin' Wolf. The train I ride, it shine like gold. Yeah, the train I ride, shine just like gold. Don't you hear me crying? Don't you hear me crying? Ah, ooh. Ah, ooh. The train I ride, shine just like you. I said, train I ride, It shines just like gold. I said, how many more times? How many more times? How many more times? Don't you hear me cry? Smokestack, lightning, babe. Smokestack, smokestack, smokestack. So y'all know the Last Waltz is the first song for the Last Waltz. First song for the Last Waltz is also the last song that they ever played together. It's called Don't You Do It. Woo, y'all give it up for Connor over here, sounds so good. Don't you do it. Don't do it. Don't you break my heart. Please don't do it. Well, my sacrifice to make you happy. Nothing for myself. Now you wanna leave me all the love of someone else. Well, I tried to do you right, but I end up feeling wrong. Oh, baby, you just keep on keeping on. Well, I tried to do my best. Yes, tried to do my best. Don't do it. Don't you break my heart. Please don't do it. Don't you break my heart. This mistake was loving you too much, letting you know. Now you gotta want me, yeah, you won't let me go. If my heart was made of glass, yeah, you should surely see how much heartache and misery, yeah, you've been causing me. Well, I tried to do my best, yes, tried to do my best. Don't do it, don't you break my heart, please. Don't you break my heart.
Yes, yes, yes. Come on, deFrance. They sound so good.
Broke a string just in time.
So that was the Arkansas highlight segment. What y'all think about it? Pretty good? So let me see who's paying attention tonight. How y'all doing? One more time, how y'all doing? There we go, we got it. So next up, we're gonna interview Mr. Cord. Cord, could you grab a microphone? You know, I wanna ask you this because I don't know. How old are you? Tell us how old you are.
I am 18 years old. Actually, today was my last day of school.
There we go.
What better way to celebrate?
So another question that's on my list, tell us what instruments you play, every single instrument.
So I play guitar, bass, little keyboard and drums. In the school band, I have played the tuba and the upright bass.
Y'all give it up for that. So I just want to shout deFrance out for investing into the youth, because that's really what it's all about, is getting these babies out here and training them up. So shout out to y'all. Okay, so here are your real questions, though. You ready?
Yes, sir.
What? Don't call me sir. Don't do that.
No.
Don't do that. No, just
My fault.
What's your favorite rock song that embodies the spirit of Arkansas?
Favorite rock song that embodies Arkansas? That's really tough. Honestly, I'd have to say, there's not really one song, but I would say a lot of the Evanescence songs, we'll say, because it was one of those bands I never realized were from Arkansas until later, and just knowing that one of these big modern bands that a lot of people around the world know came from Little Rock, Arkansas. So I would say, just in general, Evanescence songs.
It's dope. So what about telling us about a memorable performance that you've had in Arkansas, one that really stood out to you?
Actually, it was my first show with these guys. I got to play at Magic Springs on the big stage and open up for an 80s band called Night Ranger. And that was an amazing experience, especially with these guys. So, yeah.
Y'all give it up for that. So now we are going to ease into Bill Clinton's favorite segment. And during this segment, you'll hear Hound Dog by Elvis. You'll hear Oh Well by Fleetwood Mac. And you'll also hear Fortunate Son by Creedence Clearwater.
Cord, how old were you in that first show? Was it 16? Yeah. Me and Cord have a full circle moment. He saw us when we opened for Bon Jovi at the arena over here, and that was like 2018. But Cord was, what, 9? He just remembered me as the big furry coat guy. I had this fur coat that my wife made so I could look like Prince and be, stand out in the whole arena. No matter where I was in that arena, you could see me in that big fur coat. It was white, too. It stood out big time. But it's so funny that, he came up to me. We did a show with the Spin Doctors, and he was at the show, and he came up, and he was like, oh, man, I would love to play with you guys. And I was like, well, man, come up here and do that show with us when we're doing that show with Night Ranger, and that'd be a lot of fun to have you. And Cord's been all over the place with us ever since. So y'all give him a round of applause for graduating high school. Randall, you did a good job, brother. Yeah. Way to go, Dad. All right, we're going to do some Elvis. Here we go. You ain't nothing but a hound, barking all the time. You ain't nothing but a hound dog, barking all the time. Well, you know I'm called a rabbit and you ain't no friend of mine. Well, they said you was high class. Well, that was just right. They said you was high class. Well, that was just right. Well, you never called around and you ain't no friend of mine. I'll tell them, Cord. Well, that was just lying. They said you was high class. Well, that was just lying. Well, you never caught a rabbit and you ain't no friend of mine. All the time. Ain't but a hound dog barking all the time. Say you ain't caught a rabbit and you ain't no friend of mine. All right, I had to pull out some old Memphis tricks there. We tune because we care, folks. All right, so Fleetwood Mac. Now this is before Stevie was in the band. Before they were Fleetwood. The later version that everybody knows. This goes back to like 1968, I do believe, with Peter Green being in Fleetwood Mac. If y'all don't know, Fleetwood Mac was the drummer, Mick Fleetwood, and John McVeigh, and those guys pretty much had a band that surrounded them all through the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, all the way to now. So this one's called Oh Well. I can't help about the shape I'm in. I can't sing, I ain't pretty, and my legs are thin. Don't ask me what I think of you. I might not give the answer that you want me to. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you. So I want you to take this next song to introduce my dear friend of over 1,000 shows, Mr. Connor Roach, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you all very much. Yeah. It's been a long road.
Ain't it funny how many people think this is actually a war song, but it's actually an anti-war song?
Yeah. One of the original misinterpreted protest songs. And a classic from, well, you can figure out which war.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white, and blue. And when the band plays Hail to the Chief, well, ooh, they pour the cannon at you, Lord. It ain't me, it ain't me. Well, I ain't no military son. It ain't me, it ain't me. I ain't no fortunate one. Well, some folks are born silver spoon in hand. Well, Lord, don't they help themselves, yes. But when the tax man comes to the door, well, ooh, the house look like a rummage sale, yeah. It ain't me, it ain't me. I ain't no military son. It ain't me, it ain't me. I ain't no fortunate one, yeah. Some folks inherit star-spangled eyes. Ooh, they send you down the wall. When the band plays, how much should we give? Well, ooh, the only answer's more. It ain't me, it ain't me. I ain't no senator's son. It ain't me, it ain't me. I ain't no fortunate one. It ain't me, it ain't me. I ain't no military son. It ain't me, it ain't me. I ain't no fortunate one.
Thank you very much.
Man, y'all
Thank you.
y'all are amazing. So, Drew, I got some questions for you. Y'all make some noise for Drew. This is the lead singer, founder, the man that makes it all happen. Drew, I'd like to know what Arkansas rock pioneer has inspired your career the most and why?
Well, which Arkansas has inspired me in Arkansas? As a musician, I'd have to go back to Albert King as far as Arkansas music. He's just influenced my guitar playing so much, and so many of my favorite guitar players. Al King influenced Jimi Hendrix, of course, Stevie Ray Vaughan. We talked about him, Buddy Guy. Anybody who came after him, he influenced. He just had a certain sound and style. It was mainly something kind of like this. And he was real known for this one. complete with shitty string noise and everything.
So if you had to give us one Albert King suggestion when we go home tonight, what song should we start with?
I feel like breaking up somebody's home. That's one of them dirty blues songs. It's a good one, though. It's got some great licks in it. Another Arkansas artist that don't get mentioned enough is Roy Buchanan. He was a great influence on Jeff Beck and a lot of other great guitar players like that. He was asked to be in the Rolling Stones, but he turned them down. He also was asked to be in the band and turned them down. So if that gives you any kind of idea how hot a guitar player he was.
He's really good.
He was from Ozark, Arkansas.
Dope. So my last question for you, what is your favorite Arkansas venue to play at?
Favorite Arkansas venue? Definitely the arena over there. That's a fun one, for sure. You can fit the most folks in there. You can get the most Arkansans. And I remember when we played there, I said, where are the folks from Camden at? And they all went,
there we
that
go.
was great. That was a dream come true. My first show I ever saw was over there. And that was a big full circle moment for me and Connor, for sure. You know, some of the greatest artists have been from Arkansas, and, you know, a lot of times they have to leave the state, and hopefully we can keep them here in the state, you know. I plan on sticking around. I don't know about anybody else, but.
So, speaking of full circles, I do want to kind of share a story with everybody. I met Drew about 9 or 10 years ago. We were in the Arkansas Times Musicians Showcase, and it was a talent competition for Arkansas bands. And man, they killed it. My band killed it. So Solution, yeah. So Drew and I, we were talking, and we just knew one of us would win, and somebody else actually won. So, so Drew and I have been laughing about that.
We thought we were shooing, right?
Yeah, we thought we had it. But I want to say this to you, just watching you and being a fan from afar, you are a huge inspiration, bro. I've seen this dude tour like 1,000 nights out of the year, if that's possible. So he has been on the road, and he's been doing his own music all around the world. So y'all give it up for that.
Thank you. Got to play in 8 different countries and all over this beautiful country. And we're going to be doing some more shows soon. You mentioned Black Oak earlier. Jim Dandy, we just played his birthday down in Hot Springs a month ago. And just recently he asked us to be his backing band. So you'll see deFrance's Black Oak, Arkansas as the next iteration here soon.
There we go. Y'all give it up for that. So before we do this last segment, I want y'all to give it up for Miss Kathleen and Mr. Steve Cook one more time. Give it up for the Clinton Foundation of Humanities, Arkansas. And what we're about to do for the last segment is we're going to let deFrance do what they do best, and they're going to play some originals, so y'all check them out.
So we was in Chicago, not too bad. We learned a little thing right there.
Walking through the city, 8 of the night. Ain't it such a pity? Look beside the sign. Keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on it. Keep the night on it. Keep the hotel core. keep the night on it. I keep the night on it. Walking through the city in the heat of the night. Ain't it such a pity to look inside the sight? I keep the night on it. I keep the night on it. Feeling like a record. Oh yeah. Spinning round and round. Oh yeah. Tell me what you're after. Oh yeah. Look into the sound. Oh yeah. Good times keep a rolling. Gang is just behind. Keep the trends flowing. It's the thrill of the fight. I keep the night on it. I keep the night on it. Let's keep the night on it. Let's keep the night on it. Say ain't no good reason. Oh, what can I do? Now you got the feeling it's coming over you. Get on the bus, grab the gear and get ready to go. 600 miles I missed to take me to the show. My mind is ragged and it's starting to fray. It's a little smoky, that's okay. Oh, screaming through these halls. Oh yeah, riding on the walls. Oh yeah, light it up and smoke it. Take it off and show it. Hey, let's burn this whole thing down. Oh yeah, keep the night on it. I keep the night on it. I keep the night on it. Let's keep the night on it.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Mean disposition, roll down ways, honey. See it's your condition. Can't take a break. Said you good love. Oh yeah, it's coming. Said you good love. Oh yeah, it's coming. Just a tossing and turning. Can't sleep at night. All this rocking and rolling. Can't take the side. Give me one reason to see you tonight, baby. Come on, give me one reason. Don't tell me a lie. Said you good love. Oh yeah, it's coming. Said you good love. Oh yeah, it's coming. Get back. Wanted your freedom, so I pity. You didn't need it, you were some other fool. Said you're good, but it's gonna be, baby. Don't let your good love. Said your good love. Oh yeah, it's coming. Said your good love. Oh yeah, it's coming. got a runaway heart, and it's made of gold. I think I'm headed out west just to find my soul.
Happy birthday, Parker.
I got a touring band playing rock and roll. Got a big set stacked down this endless road. And I know that you need my love to be. 'Cause you run away hard. Baby, what can I do? Had all this time to think about you and you run away hard. Got the brightest smile and your mama's charm. Yeah, you light up the night when you're in my arms. It's your one-shot deal. Didn't go as planned. Say you're heading out west with your rock and roll band. I know that you need my love to be. Yes, you run away hard. Baby, what can I do? Had all this time to think about you and you run away hard. You need my love to be. 'Cause you run away hard. Baby, what can I do? Had all this time to think about you and you run away hard. You should run away hard. You should run away hard.
Thank you so much. The song's about being out on the road and missing someone back home. We do about 100 to 150 dates all over this beautiful world and this beautiful country of ours. And it's all because people just like you show up each and every single time, and thank you so much. Give yourself a round of applause. I feel it's very important to support the arts, and I don't feel like it's actually happening enough in this country, and especially in this time in this country. But we won't get into that. But y'all are supporting, and that's what matters. That's really what matters. So again, thank y'all so much. It's because of programs like this and folks like y'all coming out each and every time. So thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Bray. Thank you, everybody, putting this on today and having us here. It's a little fancier than what we're used to. Normally there's smoke. I have to do this and go, where's the audience at? Or there's chicken wire and, beer stuck in it. I'm just kidding. Y'all are a good crowd. Y'all having a good time? All right, so this one's called Forever Girl. It has a bit of a gospel influence, and we're going to get down on this one.
Says she knows it, there she goes walking away. I guess you're wondering where we just can't say. In and out of love, halfway to go high. Get mine. Lady says she knows it, there she goes walking away. I guess you're wondering where you know it just can't say. In and out of love, halfway to your heart. You're mine. Yes, you are, baby. You're my forever girl. All Arkansas music. You're my forever girl. Yeah, won't you come and tell me one more time? Yeah, won't you read between the lines? In and out of love, halfway to your heart. You're mine. I guess you are, baby. You're my forever girl, forever and ever. You're my forever girl. Can't stop, no, I can't stop. You're my. You're my forever girl. Can't stop, no, I can't stop. You're my. You're my forever girl. Can't stop, no, I can't stop. You're my. My forever girl. Can't stop, no, I can't stop. You're my. I'll tell the chord. Can't stop, no, I can't stop. You're my.
Thank y'all, everybody, so much. We're deFrance from right here in Little Rock, Arkansas. It's all because of y'all. Thank you so much. Also, I would be remiss if I didn't mention Danny Tate is one of the best songwriters ever come out of this state.
All right, how about another round of applause? Woo! Okay, I need to tell y'all a secret. I don't know if President Clinton actually likes Fortunate Son. I threw it in there because of the other presidential connections. If you don't know what they are, Google it. Look it up. Okay, it's absolutely worth it. All right, thank you. Good night.